welcome to the program.
Hello.
So you had very recently, or we've had really very recently, the Brexit vote. We've had Donald Trump elected as U.S. president. We've had the elections in Poland that have brought a populist government into power. Now, possibly, very soon, we could have populists gaining a lot of strength in France, in Holland, or in the Netherlands, and also in Austria as well. There's many people who now see Angela Merkel sort of holding the liberal order in the transatlantic area, if you will, together. Do you think that that's a role that she's willing to play? Do you think that that's a role that she's actually aware of and one that she actually wants to play in the future? Because it's unclear whether or not she actually wants to run for chancellor for another term.
She will run for chancellor, and she is absolutely determined, willing, and ready to contribute to strengthen the international liberal order. But we can't see the Chancellor or Germany as last man standing. This will only work together within Europe, and if we can have the backing of the transatlantic alliance. We have, in a way, to reinvent the West and not to disintegrate the West. The Chancellor is a cornerstone of this political concept of the West as acting as a global player. So she will run and she will act as a responsible leader, but it would be impossible to rely only on one person. We need the West, and the West is indispensable. This, of course, means fundamentally and indispensably also the participation and contribution of the strongest part of the West, and this is the United States of America.
Now, President Obama has just described Chancellor Angela Merkel as one of his closest allies around the world, whereas Donald Trump in the election campaign struck a very different tone. I want us to listen to one of the statements Donald Trump made during the campaign. Let's listen to that.
Hillary Clinton wants to be America's Angela Merkel. True. And you know what a disaster this massive immigration has been to Germany and the people of Germany.
So that seems like a very different political tone than the measured rhetoric that comes from Angela Merkel. Her whole style seems very different to that of Donald Trump. How do you envision these two leaders working together? Can they work together?
No doubt they are completely different in character and tone and temperament, as the two presidents, the president-elect and the incumbent president, are as well. And once again, I think we did not misinterpret his rhetoric as campaign rhetoric. And now, since election day, we have a new reality. Now Donald Trump starts to prepare himself, perhaps a bit late, for government. And we have an open mind. We are dependent on a good cooperation. I think the United States are also dependent to rely on their best friends in the world. And we are open for an intensified, good relationship, because the world has become ever more chaotic, aggressive, and so we have to stick together in order to defend our common values and our common interests. This is what counts crucially.
But do you think you can count on a United States led by Donald Trump, especially when it comes to the current confrontation that Europe has, and the U.S. also has, with Russia? Or is that something that concerns you? Some of the things that Donald Trump has said, and also some of the influence that Russia has gained in Europe. If we look at, for instance, Bulgaria just recently.
Of course, there are concerns. And I would say for the first time, at least in the last 100 years, America, with the election of Donald Trump, has caused and has turned to be a source of insecurity. Because at least nobody knows in the world what foreign policy and security policy we can expect to be pursued by the president-elect. And so there is an insecurity, a specific new insecurity has entered the world stage by Donald Trump, who is now starting to prepare for his job. And he has made the remarks you cited earlier. So there is concern, but we hope that Donald Trump will return to the traditions of foreign policy, will realize the real interests, and they are based and focused in a good transatlantic relationship. This is a necessity of our common interests. We are concerned, there is insecurity, but we are determined to continue an indispensable transatlantic relationship.
One of the things that not just Donald Trump has said, but various U.S. administrations have said, is they would like Germany to not just play a bigger role internationally on a political way, but also militarily. Is Germany willing to do that? Talking about increasing spending considerably. Also, more military engagement around the world as well. Is Germany in a position and willing to do that at this stage?
My clear view as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the German Parliament is we have to be ready to do that, but we are in a process of adaptation. I think there were decades when Germany was not asked to play a specific, a leading role in foreign policy, but times and the environment has changed. Now Germany has a political weight. It has to assume a role of more responsibility. We have to accelerate to live up to a new level of responsibility. We are learning. Perhaps we have to accelerate our pace. At the end, I'm optimistic, and the recent presidential election in the United States will urge us to do more, and we will be determined to do more and to bear more responsibility, from crisis prevention to military spending. We see a new spillover effect from the Middle East coming to Europe. We see an aggressive Russia deploying military tools to achieve political goals. And now we see, as I mentioned, a new kind of insecurity and perhaps a danger of a new American isolationism. So we see we have to do more. We are forced to do that. And security comes to be a central term in the political arena and debate in Germany. And of course, at the end of the day, it depends on political leadership. And I consider this Chancellor Angela Merkel to be ready to demonstrate and show the necessary leadership to explain the German electorate that it is in our fundamental interest to spend more in order to have and enjoy also in the future a secure life as Germans and Europeans.
Norbert Roettgen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.